Hello, this is Alchemist 2, and I'm back again with another book review. I just recently read Terry Pratchett's Blink of the Screen. Selected shorter fiction. Of course, this is some of the stories that turned into The Long Earth and Rincewind and Hogfather or why is my phone talking? I'm sorry about that. It's been doing this, and I don't know why it started doing that, and it's freaking me out, man. But anyway, I'm going to ignore that, and I'm going to read a Christmas story that's in here, which I think is very appropriate for the holiday. It's actually very good. I'm going to read it in an accent, so bear with me, because I wanted to try my accent out, but... The Prince and the Partridge, Children's Circle by Uncle Jim, Box Free Press, 6/13/20, December 1968. Written under the pseudonym Uncle Jim, Children's Circle was a series of 70-odd tales that appeared between 1965 and 1973, of which two have made it into this collection, The Prince and the Partridge and Rincemangle, the Gnome of Even More. Once upon a time, that's always a good start, there was a young prince who was the ruler of the land of the sun. It was a pleasant country of long days and blue skies, and most things in it were either yellow or gold. The cottages were built of sandstone with golden tiles, daffodils and buttercups grew in the fields of ripe corn so plentiful under the land that the trees were actually paved with it. Now, to the west of this land was a high range of mountains, where the prince, did I say his name was Alfred? Well, it was, had a hunting lodge. One day, when he was out hunting deer with his knights, his horse bolted and carried him away through the thick pine forests. The sounds of the hunt disappeared in the distance, while the prince leaned on the reins and tried to calm his mount. By the time he had done this, he was in an unknown part of the mountains, on the edge of a wide clearing. He found what was wrong with his horse. A sharp burr had gotten under the saddle girth, and while he stood adjusting it, a deer burst into the center of the glade. It was one he had been hunting, but before he could reach for his bow, a silver arrow hissed out of the trees and killed the creature. "Oi, oi," he thought, "poachers in my mountains." Out of the trees rode a host of knights in silver armor, riding on white horses. At the head rode a princess clad in silver cloth. She had white hair, and dare I say, hardly have to tell you that Alfred thought she was the dearest, prettiest, fairest, etc. princess he'd ever clapped eyes on, even though her long hair was whiter than his granny's. Leave me alone. Sorry. Stop! I don't know why I'm so popular, sorry. Her knights took the deer and rode away, and of course Alfred followed. He soon realized that he was going down the other side of the mountain. The sun was setting, and this is what he saw. Over the land on the other side of the mountains, a big silver moon was rising. The whole land shone like silver. Silver flowers grew in the grass, and in the distance his princess was riding. "Where is this place?" The prince wondered out loud. In the tree above, someone coughed. "It's the land of the moon, of course." Come on, why is my phone doing that? I'm sorry. The prince looked up, and he was under an old wild pear tree with gnarled boughs and wizened fruit, and hardly any leaves to speak of. On the lowest branch sat a large, fat, ugly brown bird with big eyebrows. Of course, it is the big, ugly bird. "What sort of bird is it that speaks?" said Alfred. "Me. I'm the partridge. The partridge, I should say, in the pear tree. And you're the Prince Alfred. The girl is Princess Selena, but if you want to marry her, you have to woo her. Chocolates and flowers and so on." I don't know why I made him Cockney. "She looks as if she can have anything she wants," pointed out Alfred. "Please yourself," said the partridge. "I'm only here to help, I'm sure. All I can say is that she promised to marry the man that gives her a Christmas present that dances, sleeps, plays tunes, and makes a beat, carries pails, hisses, swims, lays eggs, and can be worn on one hand, sings, cackles, coos, waggles his eyebrows, and is good to eat. All at once, I might add. Oh, for the love of... sorry. Can't take calls right now, especially not from foreign countries. It costs too much money. Anyway, back to my story. What for? Asked Prince Alfred. Her father, king of the land of the moon, decided that only the man who could think of the right kind of present was worthy enough to marry his daughter. He had no sons, you see, and whoever was her husband would become king of that land in time, added the partridge. A parrot, thought the prince thoughtfully. That might be all right. The emperor of the Rainbow Land tried that, said the partridge. Not gonna get angry. Anyway, bobbity 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 blah. He called all the palace wizards, wise men, and deep thinkers together, and asked them what dances, leaps, plays, tunes, makes a beat, carries pails, hisses, swims, lays eggs, and can be worn on one hand. Sings, cackles, coos, waggles his eyebrows. Okay, come on, work it out, or you get no Christmas bonus. It's a riddle, said one of them, but think as they might, they couldn't find the answer. So the prince organized a great competition, with a gold cup as the prize for anyone who could guess the answer. Of course, says the prince. But although the whole of the castle was filled overflowing, with postmen sorting out all the replies and people queuing up in the hope of winning the cup, no one thought anything like the right answer. The prince sat on his gold throne and sighed. Right at the end of the queue was the partridge, walking since he was far too fat to fly. "What are you doing here?" gasped Prince Alfred. "I've come for the prize," said the partridge. "You mean you knew all the time?" "You didn't ask me, did you? But I don't want the cup. What I want costs nothing. It's of the slightest air, and I shan't tell you what it is. Not yet, anyway." "What is the present I'm going to get the princess, then?" asked the Prince Alfred. "Patience, patience," said the partridge. "I want to have a meeting with some of your subjects first. Kindly call the royal swan keeper, the guardian of the crown jewels, the master of the grand music, highest lord of the land, the chief lady in waiting, and about 4 farmers. I'll need them all to make the present. Then I want you to go visit the princesses, her father, and visit the princess." No, this isn't a harem, darn it. This is not a harem. "And bring them to the pear tree in the mountains." This the prince did, though he wondered what the partridge had in store. He went to the land of the moon, brought the king and the princess to a host of their kingdom to the tree. "What sort of present is this?" said the king. "The pears are good to eat maybe, but nothing else. They don't sing." "Wait a moment," thought the prince, gazing anxiously down the road. "I'm not waiting here all day," said the king angrily. "Show me the present you've got, or for my daughter be off." Wait a minute. Hello. Wait a minute, said the Princess Selena. There's something coming. Prince Alfred looked down the road at the approaching cloud of dust and let out a whoop joy. A very odd crowd could now be seen. In the lead was a small boy called Bert, the son of the royal swan keeper, carrying 3 enormous cages. One carried 2 silky turtle doves, the next 3 French hens, the biggest, which kept bumping against his knees, held 4 little green birds. On Bert's head sat the partridge, holding on tightly to his hair and shouting instructions to the others. His voice was rather muffled, since he was also trying to hold 5 large gold rings in his beak. After Bert came to the royal swan keeper himself, holding 7 hissing swans and 6 waddling geese, who kept getting under the feet of the 8 milkmaids who went puffing along behind. After them came the big drum, bowling down with its drummer galloping after it, and the other 8 drummers hotly in pursuit, closely followed by 10 pipers, who played as they ran. 11 lords came a-leaping after them, robes flying, and bringing up the rear was a carriage holding 12 ladies in waiting. "Now you all know what to do," said the partridge, when they had reached the old pear tree, and pears rained down as everyone scrambled into the branches, treading on fingers and crackling branches. "Quick, quick," said the partridge. "Are we all ready? Now tell the princess what the present is." 12 ladies dancing, said the ladies on the lowest branch. 11 lords a-leaping, sang the lords rocketing up and down through the tree. Creak, rattle, 10 pipers piping. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, sang the pipers, and went to a spirited rendering of the tune. 9 drummers drumming, thud, boom. 8 maids a-milking, hiss, hiss, went the swans, who couldn't swim on their branch and were rather angry about it. Honk, honk, went the 6 geese a-laying. Ring, ting, sang the 5 gold rings in the wind. Call, chirrup, sang the 4 calling birds. Le caca, cackled the 3 French hens. Coo, coo, sang 2 turtle doves. There was a breathless pause, and everyone stared up at the partridge. They made sure they were all watching, and he ruffled his feathers, stretched out his wings, and with a voice like sandpaper sang, "And a partridge in a pear." And he stretched out his neck, and his face went red as he took a deep breath. 3. And the silence that followed was broken by laughter of the king, who sat on his horse with tears running down his face. "It's the funniest thing I've seen in years, and it does everything it should do. Marry my daughter, by all means." "I think it's a lovely present," said the princess. Said the partridge tactfully from his position on the topmost branch. "My reward is I want to sing a song that I've invented all about this at your wedding." "Yes," said the prince, "you all must come." So, on the 12th day of Christmas, as it happened, they held a great wedding party in a large tent erected over the small old pear tree in the mountains, and the partridge sang his song, and was made prime minister on the spot by the prince. Several of the smaller pipers ate too much and had to be sent home in wheelbarrows. The prince gave everyone medals, and they were all very happy. Of course, Rince Mangle is in this, and there's some illustrations I really like too. When it gets to Discworld, actually, those are all really good illustrations. I love the Discworld illustrations the best. Because I grew up with Discworld, and it's woefully short, but it's really very illuminating to see Terry's mind. I don't know why you say this is your, hack work or your kind of half-assed storytelling. But no, you could see how it evolved and how it took shape over time and how it became better in the future as he continued, and why he was knighted by the queen. But anyway, sorry for all the interruptions. That's all I got to say about the blink of the screen. So until next time, live long and prosper. Ciao, tutti.